A powerful storm system is set to impact the United States this weekend. This will bring a significant threat of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. In addition, flooding will become a major concern along the Gulf Coast over the next few days, and at the same time, a record-breaking spring heat wave will build across parts of the country, with temperatures soaring to levels we've rarely ever seen in March. So in today's forecast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know about the weather that'll be impacting the United States over the next 7 days, and we are going to jump right into the severe weather potential, as we are expecting severe weather every single day for the next week or so across the United States. And it all begins today with a large marginal threat of severe weather across the Central Plains and the Midwest, and then also another risk back over in South Texas, where there is a lot of moisture that is not going to just lead to severe weather, but there's also going to be an elevated threat for flooding. The main concerns for today will be damaging winds and large hail, both in the Midwest and Central Plains, and also in South Texas. There's also a low end and conditional risk for an isolated tornado, one of which is just north of Kansas City, and then another one just to the west there of Houston in far South Texas. It's unlikely that we go live today, but just in case, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon so you're notified if we do go live. Heading into Friday, our risk of severe weather is lower, and this is honestly the lowest risk of severe weather that we have, in my opinion, over the next several days, as we have a marginal threat in place in the upper Midwest and into the Central Plains, and another one near the Gulf Coast. I do think that there is a low chance that we see a small little slight risk of severe weather added near the Texas and Louisiana border, but nonetheless, the main concern will be damaging winds and hail. There's also a low-end tornado risk down in the Southern Plains and far deep south. As we go into Saturday, we have a more conditional risk of severe storms across the Midwest and the Central Plains, but if a storm gets going, large to very large hail, damaging winds, and even a tornado will be possible. I could see this being a little bit further down to the south depending on trends, but it's a very conditional risk. Biggest reason why is because we basically have a capping inversion, which means that the temperatures are actually increasing aloft, which will prevent storms from developing. But if that temperature inversion is overcome, then storms could actually fire up, and they could be significant. So definitely going to be something to watch for on Saturday. Now, on Sunday and Monday, these are the 2 days that look to be the most concerning out of the entire 7-day stretch here of severe weather, mainly because it's covering a very large area and the environment is favorable for severe storms. So on Sunday, the Storm Prediction Center has a massive slight risk of severe weather in place from the Ohio Valley back into the Southern Plains and Dixie Alley, where all hazards of severe weather are possible, including damaging winds, large to very large hail, and tornadoes. And by tomorrow, I do think that the Storm Prediction Center will add an enhanced risk of severe weather, perhaps here to the Mississippi River Valley, where we have a much more favorable environment for severe weather. There's going to be a lot of instability, a pretty good amount of wind shear as well, and it's also a very large area that we're talking about. So there is a widespread potential here for severe weather from the Ohio Valley to the deep south, and I do think Sunday is going to be a very busy day. I really don't see a possibility of us not being live on Sunday, just purely due to the scale of this event. So we'll almost undoubtedly be live on Sunday, and we could even be live on Monday, as there is another risk of severe weather, which is another large area from New Jersey and Pennsylvania back to the Gulf Coast in Florida, where more damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes will be possible. We got 2 very long days ahead. These are covering huge population centers as well. There are tens of millions of people that live in both of these risks on both Sunday and Monday. So make sure to get the word out there. Make sure that people are aware of it, even though this might not be nearly as intense as our tornado outbreak that we had on March 14th or 15th. It is definitely still a big concern, and honestly, it's trending in the wrong direction right now. It's a very favorable environment, especially on Sunday, where we could be talking about significant severe weather. And we'll talk more about the timing of severe weather in just a moment, but I do want to mention that in South Texas, there is now a moderate risk of excessive rainfall both today and tomorrow, as we are expecting a bunch of rain to fall. Definitely a very concerning threat. In terms of total rainfall accumulation, many areas will see at least 2 to 4 inches of rain. I think these numbers, though, are honestly under what we'll actually end up seeing there in South Texas. So definitely make sure that you are turning around and don't drown on the roadways, as it could be very dangerous out there both tonight, tomorrow, and even into the weekend. Now, in terms of the timing, we are expecting a bunch of rain today and even some severe storms that'll mainly be happening in very far South Texas, and even a couple supercells that'll try to rotate, producing the potential for an isolated tornado. But lots of rain is really the biggest concern. On Friday, this low pressure system will move to the northeast, and this will allow for a low-end threat for maybe a tornado or two, in addition to damaging winds and hail back over in the deep south. And you'll notice that there will be a few supercells out there tomorrow afternoon. Generally speaking, though, the severe weather risk out of these is on the low side of things. I think our peak of severe weather would be sometime in the late afternoon and early evening, before eventually this is turning into just rain as we go into the late evening and overnight hours. So make sure to stay weather aware and have multiple ways to receive warnings. There's also a low chance that we go live tomorrow if this starts to uptick a bit more, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Now let's talk more about the timing for severe weather, rain, and even the potential for snow and ice back over in the upper Midwest and the Northeast. Beginning with what's happening today, we still have a lot of rain falling back over in the Pacific Northwest. This is where we did have a rare severe weather event that was supposed to take place yesterday, but no storms actually end up firing off. It was all just normal thunderstorms. We actually had no severe weather, so that forecast completely busted out, which is probably a good thing because there's a lot of people that live in those areas that are not accustomed to severe weather. But overall, that system has weakened out. It's mostly just rain at this point. As we go into tonight and as well as tomorrow, showers and storms will continue from the upper Midwest to the southern plains. Notice that we're going to have snow and ice in parts of upstate New York and even into New England as we go into late Friday and Saturday, while showers and thunderstorms continue in the deep south. By Saturday, a strong low pressure system will move over the Rockies, and this will begin to intensify in the southern plains on Saturday. The good news right now is that we're not expecting a whole lot of severe weather out of this on Saturday. Otherwise, it could be very significant, but there is an area that I'm watching for, mainly in parts of the Midwest from western Illinois back into southern Kansas, and maybe a small sliver of northern Oklahoma could see a couple of isolated severe storms with large hail, damaging winds, and a low-end tornado risk being possible. By Sunday, the storm system will move further to the east, and we have a huge warm sector once again that is in place on Sunday from the Midwest and the Ohio Valley to the Gulf Coast, which is going to allow for a widespread area of showers and thunderstorms to fire off Sunday afternoon. And I do fully expect that we are going to have at least an enhanced risk of severe weather in place, as large hail, damaging winds, and several tornadoes are going to be a possibility Sunday afternoon. Could even see a full-blown severe weather outbreak. It's very well in play for Sunday, especially with how large this area that we're talking about is. By Sunday evening, those storms are moving into central and southern Illinois, eastern Arkansas, and central Louisiana. This will likely become a line of thunderstorms as we go into the late evening and overnight hours, which means that we're talking more about a numerous wind threat with embedded tornadoes possible in that line of thunderstorms. And then by early Monday morning, this thunderstorm activity moves towards the Gulf Coast. Overall, there is a slight risk of severe weather for Monday, but it's going to be mostly wind in my opinion. There could be a couple of tornadoes embedded in this thunderstorm activity in Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, and it's mostly going to be during the morning hours, so definitely something to keep in mind if you have any travel plans for Monday. Showers and thunderstorms will even be possible into the Northeast, so this is going to be a large area that we're talking about on Monday also for showers and thunderstorms. By Monday evening, the storm system is mainly just impacting the Northeast with high winds and some showers, and then eventually this is moving out as we go into Tuesday. And then after this powerful storm, we will not have to look far for our next big storm system, because by the middle and end of next week, many computer models are already indicating another large-scale storm across the Great Plains, the Ohio Valley, and the East Coast, and we could be talking about even more significant severe weather. And I honestly think even throughout the first 2 weeks of April, even beyond this storm and the next one, we are going to be having a very active weather pattern with plenty of different severe weather systems. Buckle up. Spring is obviously kicking right into full gear right now, and April and May are usually our peak for severe weather, and we are definitely going to be seeing that over the next few weeks. And believe it or not, springtime record-breaking heat is in full effect. We have a huge area of warm air across the Great Plains that is going to continue throughout the next 48 hours, bringing record-breaking high temperatures both today and tomorrow to Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and even areas like the Rockies are going to be dealing with record-breaking high temperatures in the 70s and low 80s. The good news is that this record-breaking heat will move out this weekend after this large storm system moves through. Below average temperatures will return to the central and northern plains, while on the other hand, there will be another chance for record-breaking high temperatures back over into the Northeast and also up and down the East Coast. So something to keep a close eye on, but our main focus will be mainly Canada and the Northeast. By Tuesday and Wednesday, this cold air is moving into the Northeast, and then eventually by the middle and end of next week, warm air is once again building across the Ohio Valley and the Deep South, where more record-breaking high temperatures will be a possibility. So definitely going to be a warm stretch of weather, despite there being a small shot of cold air this weekend. These are the high temperatures that are forecasted for this evening. Notice that we have high temperatures as high as the low to mid 80s and even near 90 degrees in central Kansas today. That is very abnormal for this time of the year. Those will be record-breaking high temperatures for sure. And even on Friday, that warm air continues. And notice how far north those 80s are getting. Even into southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, we are talking about 70s and 80s for high temperatures. Unbelievable. Once again, these are record-breaking high temperatures as well for many many areas in northern Iowa and southern Minnesota, as we are forecasting temperatures in the low 80s, which hardly ever happens in the month of March. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Also, let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed the intro to today's video. It's something we've never really done before other than our winter forecast back in December, but I'm thinking about implementing that into every single video, so definitely let me know your thoughts and feedback on that in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you're notified when we do go live. We are going to have video updates pretty much every day. We're likely going to be live on Sunday and possibly on Monday. We might be live either tomorrow, even maybe tonight if something happens, or even on Saturday. So basically, there's a chance of live stream every day. It's a low chance over the next few days, much higher for Sunday. And don't forget, our 1 million subscriber merch is going away forever in just a few days. We still have signed hats, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and much more. This is one of the best ways to support our channel and what we do here, so if you want to check it out, it is at shopmaxvelocity.net.